So welcome everybody. We are in session number 3 here of our class. And what we do today is basically we are working with bug reports. And I told you last time that to get a job, you have to be good with three things. So one thing is doing test cases, and it is coming in our curriculum. It is coming later on. Test cases. Starting with session 6, we will talk about test cases. So far, so test cases 1, bug reports 2, and talking about the projects. And projects are also coming. You might look at the entire course here. So mobile testing project, web testing project. You can see pretty much what's going to be there. So we have Energy Telecom, basically the picture where we look at user interface issues. That one. User interface and usability, and we will try to differentiate between usability and user interface testing. Okay, those are two different things, but they're kind of close. And another application we have for testing is called Energy Telecom. Okay. And we will look at bug reports which you provided for Energy Telecom and for Tolia application. So today we are focused completely on writing bug reports, and we will discuss certain rules of bug reporting. And the way we're going to do that is we just look at your bug reports and we say, okay, that is good and that is something which might be done better. And here are the rules of bug reporting. So let's go to our notes and see what we've got. So first of all, I want you to know that we have that video page where we keep archived videos. So you know it exists. Then we have that video on how to be successful with U-test. In some countries, guys, U-test is not working. Well, if that is the case, either you just don't do it, or you do it using VPN, or somehow you trick the system. And before we proceed, guys, we look at what is software usability and what is usability testing. Because some people think that usability testing is when tester looks at web page or whatever interface and says, I don't like this, I don't like that, I think it's not convenient, it's not nice. So usability testing is not that. So let's start with usability. Software usability, what is that? So software usability is about the quality of user experience. UX is a typical common abbreviation for user experience. There is a profession called UX design, so user experience. So quality of user experience with when interacting with websites, software devices, or applications. Quality of user experience, how convenient. Yeah, it's about effectiveness, efficiency, and the overall satisfaction of the user. So that is usability. Then we have what is called usability testing. Usability testing is an interesting thing, and I'm giving you a link to the place where it is talking about it. But overall, yeah, usability testing refers to evaluating a product or service by testing it with representative users. So it is not QA people who look at that software and say, I don't like this, I do not like that. No. You take users, representative users, so people who are typical expected users, target users of your product. Let's say if you do something, let's say if you are on TikTok and you want to test TikTok for usability, so you take kids. If you want to do same thing with Facebook, you take older people. If that software is about learning something, okay, so then you take people who are students, and so on. You take representative users, okay, and you give them tasks and observe how they handle those tasks. So typically, during the test, participants will try to complete typical tasks while observers watch. Observers could be QA people, or could be psychologists, or could be some experts in certain area. But it is about observing representative users who are trying to complete typical tasks. Let's say we test email, and you ask them, okay, let's create an account, and you watch them. You tell them, let's send an email, and you watch them. So while observers watch, listen, and take notes, the goal is to identify any usability problem, collect qualitative and quantitative data, and determine the participant's satisfaction with the product. Again, for you, that is mine. It is not done by QA or testers, okay? The maximum you can do as a QA person, you can observe, and also you can organize them. So you can say, okay, let's bring together people who are typical users, blah, 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 so you can bring them. But you are not going to execute those tests. You are observing other people executing those tests. Okay. Software usability, so how effective, efficient, and overall satisfaction. And usability testing is not done by testers. I can tell you an example of how I was a part of that. We were developing an email application. It was God knows how many years ago. It was maybe 94, guys. Can you imagine? 1994. And so we've got three individuals. It was a team. And basically, those three individuals were from the business of ergonomics. And they came with some equipment. So they were given assignments to people like create an account, send an email, that kind. And their equipment was tracking the eyeball movements of these people, how the eyeballs move. And they compared three different interfaces offered to that future email. So three different interfaces, and they judged how convenient, how effective that interface is based on the necessary movements of eyeballs, to actually identify certain area where the task should be resolved. Okay, it's a purely scientific thing. Now, guys, let me make sure we are on the same page. So, guys, are you with me? You understand the difference between usability and usability testing? Specifically, usability testing is not testing against requirements. See what I mean? It has nothing to do with requirements. When we talk about user interface testing, or GUI testing, or UI testing, same thing. We compare the actual interface of the application with guidelines. There are certain rules, there are certain guidelines, and it's all about guidelines. In usability testing, it's all about convenience, and it might be subjective a little bit, because when you observe, you might have subjective judgment, or it might be more scientific, more objective when you use devices tracking the eyeball movements, for example. But it has nothing to do what you do in software testing when you verify implementation of requirements by developers. Okay. And by the way, it is, I believe, it is one of the 12 clearance questions. Let me see. Do we have it in our clearance? Yeah, we do have it. What is usability testing? Right? It is one of the 12 questions. Why we include that? Because we want you to clearly differentiate between UI testing, usability testing, user acceptance testing. So there is no confusion in that stuff. So we just covered one out of 12 questions which you have to prepare when it comes to the clearance. Very good. So we're okay with that, yeah? Are we okay? Okay. Now let's go to the forums. Someone is asking, where is that? On forums, you go to online. Online. And under online, we have topics. So Tolia bugs. I created that topic actually on Tuesday. And we have 58 responses. Then Jana, yeah, created that topic for energy telecom. So we have 8 responses so far. And some of you guys managed to put energy telecom bugs also in the Tolia bugs, sub forum, which is, topic, which is kind of weird to me, but I did see it there. Okay, so we have Tolia, and let me open the energy telecom. So we test, we are testing this page, and we are testing that page, which is actually, yeah, it is a page. Yeah, it is a HTML kind of document. Yeah. And so let's go. Just making sure. Just reminding you guys, bug is a mismatch between actual and expected behavior of the application. Actual and expected. It is not just about behavior, it might be also about a look. Yeah, let's say look. If we talk about user interface testing, it's not just behavior. Mismatch bug. Okay. User interface bug. Mismatch between actual and expected look. Okay, let's take it from here. Okay. Expected look or usage of user interface design elements. Okay, that is user interface bug. Okay. And that is what we're going to look at. We have special section here for rules of bug reporting. We will come up with our own rules. And we start with Tolia. We start with Tolia bugs. Okay, let's do it. Tolia bugs. I will take one bug out of one person. Okay, let's say we have Roman. Let's take one bug. He says search result must contain 10 rows. Okay, what Roman means? I'm sorry. I will close it for a while. Okay, what he means is we should have results per page 10. We should have 10 results in search results table here. But in reality, if you count them, it's 11. So what Roman says, it should be 11 as per results per page, list box here. So let's take his bug report. Let's say number 1. Search results must contain 10 rows. Look, bug report is about mismatch. Bug report is about pointing to the mismatch. Yeah? We have to point to the mismatch. It is not just a statement of what's a good thing. Where is the problem? What should I go and fix? Okay. Search result must contain blah blah blah. Okay. So search results. Search results table contains 11. What are they? 11 what? Invoices. Okay, 11 invoices instead of 10. So I am pointing to the mismatch. I'm saying 11 instead of 10. Okay, instead of 10 as per. I'm saying if you don't believe me, it's right here. It's in results per page. Okay. Copy. Okay. As per results per page list box. So first of all, look, I put results per page in double quotes. Why I did that? I'm just saying, look, it's not just some words of English language. That is exactly the element of user interface. That is how it is called in the user interface. Results per page. So you know it is somewhere in user interface. And I'm saying search results table, okay, contains 11 instead of 10. Okay. So pointing to the mismatch is important. Let me put it in our rules. Okay. Bug report should point to the mismatch. Yeah. Instead of just saying, hey, I don't like it. Or it should be something, and I don't know what I mean. Where is the conflict? What is the problem to be resolved? Should point to the mismatch. Okay. Okay. Now, guys, we can look at the second rule. And we are saying problem bug report versus solution bug report. Solution bug report. Solution bug report. Solution is better. So you're saying that do it this way, okay? So developer shouldn't look for the solution. So you give it to the developer. Problem bug report is, look, I'm not pointing to the solution, but we've got some issue here. So you decide what to do. That bug report, search result table contains 11 instead of 10. It points to the mismatch. It points to the mismatch. You might say that in some way it does provide the solution. It says it should be 10 because it is 10 in the results per page list box. But guys, I'm not sure really. It's first time in my life I look at that stuff. I'm not confident enough. So instead of doing the solution bug report, okay, I'm doing problem bug report. That is a problem bug report. In the solution way, it would be done more like here. search result must contain 10 rows. That is, it doesn't come with certain details, but that is a solution type. It says do it. So make sure it's 10, not 11. See? You might point to the solution, you might point to the problem, and there is nothing wrong with problem bug report, but it is definitely better if you can point to the solution. So do not write solution bug report if you are not 100% sure, okay? Don't do it. Okay, so far, is it clear what we are doing? Okay, good. Yeah, I am kind of placing it in a wrong way. Yeah. Rules of bug reporting and bug reports. Okay. Copy, save. Good. Let's go to another bug. Okay. So something is misspelled. That is a very common mistake. So we want to look at it closer. Row number 1, status column. Okay, row number 1, status column. So that is rejected. Okay, misspelled. It is misspelled. Okay. So how do we deal with that? Bug reports. So that is now number 2. Bug report number 2. And it starts with, in the first row of status column, we have a misprint. Oh, God. Misprint is something we will replace. But look what it does. We have to specify the location where exactly things happen. And that is something which gives us rule number 3. We call it rule of 3 W's. Rule of 3 W's. So a bug report is good enough if it provides answers to 3 W's. So what happened? What happened? Where it happened? And under which circumstances? Under which circumstances? Now, circumstances normally come when we deal with functionality testing, because we have to come to certain place and say, okay, look at that, but we have to open and type and make some choices, selections, and blah blah blah. In user interface, it is primarily what happened and where exactly it happened. So first row status column. Okay, let's say okay, status column, comma first cell. Row is when you talk about the entire table. Table has columns and rows. But when you look at this, at the column itself, it doesn't have rows anymore, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but I mean, there is no row. I mean, you might still say row, I mean, not a big deal, but so status column, first cell. Okay. I can do it in solution kind of style. I will say replace rejected with rejected. Correct spell. Okay, replace. So The first one is problem bug report. The second one is an example of a solution bug report. We know exactly the way it should be. Very good. Okay, keep going. So guys, I can tell you, you are going to be pretty good bug reporters after our class, because we have certain theoretical discussions. We have 2 projects in our class. So you're going to be pretty good at that stuff. I can promise you. And it's not a big deal. I mean, it doesn't go beyond just common sense, you know. You just have to practice a little bit with that common sense. Some people are naturally good bug reporters. Without any training, they just write good stuff. And some people just learn it. It's very easy to pick up. Okay, let's go to the bugs. Number 3, Vagram. Wow, 27 bugs. Okay, let's take this one. Copy. So what Vagram says, mismatch between 422 invoices found and 32 pages not being enough to accommodate that many invoices. Yeah. So it has showing 422 invoices. And then we have multiple pages. But overall, we have 32 pages. And even if you multiply 32 by 11, not 10, by 11, it is still 352. It is not 422. We are still lacking 70 invoices. So there is some inconsistency. Yeah. So what? Let's see. Number 3. So what Vagram said, he says mismatch. Mismatch. You can use the word mismatch. You can use the word inconsistency. Inconsistency is a very common word used in bug report. So things are not kind of coming together. Mismatch between. Okay, let's. I'm just trying. Okay, cut. 32 pages of search results are not enough to accommodate, yeah, not enough to accommodate 422 invoices. Okay. And look what he did. He said he put 422 into double quotes, yeah, because it is somewhere in the interface. Yeah, here. 422. Okay, nice. In terms of 3 W's, what do we have? And by the way, when you apply the rule of 3 W's, what happened, where it happened, which circumstances, they can go in any order. It might start with what happened, it might start with where it happened, it might start with the circumstances accompanying that situation, and so on. So in that, what happened? 32 pages are not enough. Okay, are not enough is what happened. Where it happened? In search results. Not enough is a problem. Where? In search results. Okay. Keep. Okay. Any questions so far? Any questions so far? We should learn it. You definitely should practice that to actually learn it. So it doesn't matter how many hours you listen to me doing that, but it all comes to you doing it yourself. And that is what we are practicing here before you jump on the project. Guys, look at that. Here is your schedule. At the top of the page, we have your schedule here. So we go there, and you see that yellow thing here? Jana is coming with the project on November 3rd, which is the Thursday next week. So 1 week from now, you have the first project session, and then you have second project session, and then you have third project session. So within 3 weeks, and then you have summary. Yeah, you have summary. We have 4 sessions here, and within 4 sessions, guys, you will finalize the project. So pretty much you are ready to kind of think about going to the job market. You already have some experience. Okay? Project is another word for experience. And at the end of the project, so we have sessions, QA session number 9. It's a half of our class, QA class. And out of remaining 11 sessions, 5 are about job search. So what I'm saying, 1 month from now, you are pretty much, I mean, if you really are passionate about going to the job market, we might do that. Hopefully not all of you will start at once, but if we have 5-10 people willing to go to the job market, it is something we can actually do. Okay, so coming back to the bug report. So energy telecom. Oh, see what happens. Vagram put energy telecom bugs here. Well, I will skip it for now because we are working on energy on Tole so far. Well, add the tooltip to binocular. Inconsistency. Okay, let's try. Copy. Number 4. So, who is that? Ekaterina. Okay. So what Ekaterina says, so first of all, what is a tooltip? Tooltip is a little help which comes when you navigate your mouse pointer over some objects, let's say that icon, yeah? You go to that icon and the tooltip says rejected. You go to another icon and it says paid. It goes to another icon, it says in progress. That icon, guys, we've got a problem here. So instead of the tooltip saying paid, it says approved. So we have another bug report to report. But what specifically Ekaterina says, no, wait a second. She says, add the tooltip to the binocular element located next to the purchase order. Okay, binocular next to the purchase order. That one. It doesn't have a binocular. It doesn't have the tooltips. So download does have, refresh does have it, and binocular doesn't. So that is inconsistency issue. If you give tooltips, you don't have to. I mean, it is nice to have. It's not exactly must. But if you start giving the tooltips, now it is a bug. It's a little inconsistency bug. So what happened? Inconsistency. So let's see. Let's work on the language of that. Add the tooltip to the binocular element. Blah blah blah. So what Ekaterina does? What Ekaterina does? She comes with a bug report, which is the solution bug report. She says add the tooltips. That is the solution. which is nice. Yeah, definitely. We might consider that to be a solution. We know exactly what should be there. Search my invoices section. So she spends lots of time explaining where it is located. Yeah. So where it happens. I will maybe rephrase a little bit, and instead of solution, I will make it more like a problem. But again, in nature, it is still about solution because we know what should be done, so we don't have to look for solution. But in the style of my bug report, I would say you know what? Let's start with the what happened. What happened? Tooltips. Tooltip is missing. Okay. Tooltip is missing. So that is what happened. Then where it happened. Binoculars icon. It's an icon. It's an image. It's a picture. Binoculars icon. Next to the purchase order. Next to the purchase order text. Binocular icon next to the purchase order text field. Okay. So one rule for our bug reporting rules, we are saying use technical terms not slang or people of the street language. So list box is the official name of that type of interface. A text field is an official name of that field. Yeah, that is a text field. It's not a field. It's a text field. Yeah, it's a text field. I believe I have some. Yes, I have some kind of dictionary for you at the end of the page, and not just the name of it, but also the methods we use. For example, if you have a button in user interface, you have a button, you push the button, you do not click the button, you push the button. If you have a text field, you type into the text field, you can type, or you can input data, or you can paste into the text field, but either you type or input data. When you say input, it means it doesn't matter if you type or paste, it means some data goes there. Type is a specific way of inputting data. So if you look at the characters in the text field, you can select them. You do not highlight them. You select them. When you select them, they get highlighted. See why they go blue? Because I selected them. As the result of being selected, they are now highlighted. Okay. Label. Label is something which explains the purpose of the control. In that specific case, it explains the purpose of the text field. Here, it explains the purpose of the list box. Okay. It is called label. Labels are coming. There is a rule which says user interface rule, which says labels should come with a colon. If you go to, let's say, Notepad itself, and open a dialog box, let's say save as. Okay. So look at that file name label. It comes with a colon. See? Look at the save as a type label. It comes with a colon. Encoding comes with a colon. See what I mean? So there are some rules. And overall, all those elements are called controls. Buttons, text fields, checkboxes, list boxes. So they are called controls. Whatever you see in the user interface, whatever you can use to manipulate the application. Label. So labels are static. You cannot use them. I mean, you cannot apply any action to the label. You just read it. So checkbox. You can check, you can uncheck, or you can trigger to the opposite state. You might not know what is exactly the state, but you just want to change it to the opposite. That is a trigger. Okay. List box item, select. Combo box item, you can select. The difference between list box and combo box. List box is, here is the list box. You just choose one. Yeah. You choose one. Combo box, those three are combo boxes. You start typing something into the text field. It's a combination of text field and the list box. So that is the list box. All you can do here, you can choose one. Yeah, that is the list box. But combo box, you can type there and it is synchronized with the list box. So let's say I type T and it moves me to the T part of the list box. And then I say E. It moves me to the TE part of that. And then I say M, and it moves me to whatever, tempos, blah, blah, blah. So in a combo box, we have text field synchronized with the list box. They are working together as a team, okay? So that is a combo box. Mouse button. When you have a mouse button, you can click, you can double click, you can press, you can hold actually and release. Press, hold, okay, and release. Keyboard key. On the keyboard, you can press, you can release, you can hold, and you can type. Okay. Menu item. Menus are here. So what you see here at the top, that horizontal panel, it's called, it is called menu. Okay, menu. But each individual one is called menu title. And when you see under that menu title, they are menu items. Menu items. So menu item, you can select mouse pointer. You navigate mouse pointer to, or you navigate mouse pointer over. Radio button, or option button. Edit, find. Yeah, here is the radio button. One out of many. Option button. Yeah, in today's world, people call it options button. Option button. Used to be called radio button more often. Mouse. Mouse is a mouse. So what do you do with the mouse? You can drag and drop, and you can point to something with the mouse. So menu bar contains menu titles. Okay, that is the menu bar. File, edit, format, views. That is called menu bar if you have to call it somewhere. So menu items are located under menu titles. Those are menu items. Okay. Menu title with all the items is the menu. Okay. That whole thing is a menu. Help with menu title with the items. That is a menu. That is another menu, another menu, another menu, another menu. And the whole thing is a menu bar. Okay, good. File, save, let's save it. coming back to what we are discussing here. So when we do not say field, we say text field. We do not say list, or we say list box. Some people use it as one word, say it like one word. Some people might have two words, doesn't matter really. You can see it both ways. Okay, guys. Will we get that note too? Absolutely, absolutely, you will. It is going to be on the class page here. It is going to be right here. Here is the place for notes, and here is the video. Same with session 2, the previous one. We have notes and we have video, and then we have notes and we have video. So definitely it's a part of what you get. So why should I keep it for myself? I mean, really, it's done for you. Keep going. So I ask you if you're okay. Next to write off whatever is clear to developers is good enough. So there is no specific way that everybody should follow really. Over time, you will develop your own style of doing bug reports. So until it happens, so stay with me. Okay, so I mean, I even talk the language of bug report. I mean, when I explain what happened verbally, I already write a bug report in my mind. See, so when I explain what happened, it's already like almost a bug report. Keep going. Yeah, Ekaterina. Yes, now we have Rasul. Phone column under contact. Oh, that is Energy Telecom. I don't know why in the world, I mean, anybody would write Energy Telecom bug reports if the topic is Tolia bugs. I'm just surprised. Okay. Same thing. Search results show 11 rows instead of 10 results per page. Okay. God knows what you mean under criteria missing. Colon sign under invoice. I don't know what's criteria, really. I have no time to go there. I mean, definitely it makes no sense. Alignment of all columns should be adjusted. Yes, guys, alignment is not done nicely, especially when it comes to money. For example, here, it is adjusted to the left. See, it is all adjusted to the left instead of being organized by that decimal point. Yeah. So it is but see what happens. It is more like a suggestion. Yeah. It is a suggestion because I do not have requirements and I don't know really much. I'm just thinking it is not like most of the applications I've seen would do that. So you might suggest, okay, let's do it. Suggestion, amount column, just amount. Okay, let's do it for one column. Number 5. Definitely it is not looking kind of nice, that way. Amount column suggestion. I'm saying it is a suggestion. Okay. We will learn about severity of bug reports. Next session, we will talk about severity of bug report. And among severities, there is one called suggestion or enhancement. Suggestion. So it is about validation. It's not about implementation. So remember we talked about software testing and we said it's about verification, which is making sure that requirements are properly implemented. Validation, and validation means requirements are benefiting the customer. So requirements are good requirements, decent requirements. So that is pretty much about validation. So we are saying, guys, why don't we say that it should be sorted or let's say adjusted in certain way? Okay, so it's more like a suggestion. So validations are suggestions. Amount column suggestions suggestion adjust adjust by the decimal point, by the decimal point rather than to the left. Yeah. Right now it is adjusted to the left. Okay, kind of suggestion, nice stuff, keep going. Titana, okay. Request to show invoices. 7th line. Aha. Okay, let me take that. It's a kind of tough verbiage. I will explain in a second. So guys, I'm better than developers. Developers, if they see bug report like that, they will skip it because they have no time to figure out what you mean. So it should be a good bug report. So developer actually wants to jump on it right away, not to postpone. Okay. Yeah. So invoice date, we have that column, invoice date column, and when we specify the parameters of the search, the parameters, it says here that invoice date should be in between June 5th and September 30th. September 30th is the latest. Now, what we have here, we have October 1st. So October 1st is out of range. Let me take it, copy. Invoice date field, okay. So what I would say, so location, I would say invoice date column, okay. Invoice date column. What happened? That specific value is out of range specified in where? Specified in invoice date fields. Okay. In invoice date fields. I'm not giving that range. I mean, I can say from this one to this one. I'm not doing that because, guys, I'm writing that bug report to developer, and developer is not someone who has no idea what that product is about. Yeah. So that is one. Rules, okay. Developers know the application. The application. Do not teach them what it does. what it does, how it works. Okay, they are not strangers. Okay. Okay, save. Good. So good. But again, in particular circumstances, let's say you work in a company and they use a QA department which is working, God knows, from Bangalore or in the middle of Siberia, and people really, from experience, you learn that you have to write more detailed bug report. Do it. Do it specific to the situation. Do not say we have that rule and that rule is universal. There are no universal rules. The only universal thing here is common sense, which you have to know that from your life experience. Common sense is not very common. Okay, so based on that, you have to adjust to specific situations in which you are operating, in which you are testing and writing your bug reports and so on. Okay. Web app page should be bigger at the start. Who told you that? I mean, who told you that? What are you trying to say? Do you understand what you are saying, really? There should be an information who is logged in, because I can see that there is logout button. Honestly, I don't know. I mean, it is not working. I mean, in terms of functionality, that is something you look at visually, and you are saying, why doesn't say who that user is? It doesn't. Should it? Well, in many other applications it would show you, but not always, not necessarily. God knows. And so why don't you really look at screaming things which are all over the place? I know over 40 issues here on that page. And so really, why? I mean, no colon after each label in search my invoices. Okay. Let's try to, okay, at least we have one to talk about. The overall look is not good. All data should be centered in the table. Look, I mean, maybe you want to get a job. I hope so. Maybe you can learn things, and pass an interview. But couple of bug reports like that, okay, and you lose a job. Okay, so learn from what we are doing here and stop your creativity, which is coming from nowhere. Okay, creativity cannot come from nowhere. Creativity comes out of knowledge of things. So if you don't know the subject, if you ignore the rules, instructions, and different things, your creativity will hurt you. Okay, focus on what we are doing here, and that is the kind of the purpose of our exercise. You are given the rules of user interface. We have a session, we have my presentation, and I talk about that stuff. Why in the world you complain about the size of the page? Or I mean, really, it is, you have to learn the profession. Okay, focus on learning, at least learning from me, for example. Look at the logic, not just verbiage of the bug report. Look at the logics. Why in the world I am complaining about something? It's not about my personal perception of this and that. Nobody cares about my personal perception. Either it is a violation of certain guidelines, or it is about violation of requirements, or otherwise, I mean, why? So we are in certain profession, and that profession kind of requires certain, how to say, qualifications, let's put it that way. Number 7, there are no colons after each label in the search my invoices. Okay. Where it happened, okay, search my invoices section. Colons, text fields, labels, I'm sorry, labels are missing. Colons. Colon character at the end. Okay. Let's say most of the labels. So in that specific situation, guys, I have many labels, and I can write the bug report for one per label. I can say invoice number needs colon, customer needs colon, purchase order needs colon, blah, blah, blah. Instead, I'm writing one bug report which looks at the overall issue. And the issue is in that specific place, the colon rule is mostly ignored, okay? And there is a question. I could ask you guys, do you think we have to write one bug report or we have to write 10 bug reports? One per fix, yeah, to be made. So here is the rule. Overall, guys, one bug report per one fix to be verified fixed. So I have a bug report and it talks about three things to be fixed. Developer says fixed. Now I go to that bug report and 2 are fixed and 1 is not fixed. So what should I do now? Probably I have to close that bug report and start another bug report. And there is no accountability, really. What was done exactly, not done exactly, how many bugs, and so on. So the rule is if you have 3 things after which I should go and make sure they are actually fixed. So I would write 3 bug reports. So bug report contains just one problem to be fixed and verified fixed. Okay. One bug report per one fix to be verified fix later. Okay. But we might have exceptions, and that search my invoices colons here is an exception. Instead of writing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, instead of writing 8 bug reports where each and every column will be verified, I'm saying, okay, guys, look at that search my invoices thing and give columns to whoever doesn't have it yet. And when developer says fixed, I will come and I will look. And if still there is one place where the colon is missing, I will write a separate bug report saying the customer colon, the customer label needs a colon. Okay? So overall, we do not want more than one fix in one bug report. Guys, is it clear? One issue, one report. Exactly. Well, yeah, some people call it issues, but most of the people call it a bug, a problem. Issue, well, issue is fine. Issue is fine. Why we use fields instead of text fields for invoice date? Where is that invoice date? Where is the invoice date? Is it in my bug reports? Invoice date. in text fields. Okay, let's say text fields. Yeah, text fields. I mean, as long as it is clear, yeah, I kind of abbreviate it. But for the purpose of using the perfect language, perfectly technical language, yes, text fields, definitely, definitely. You're right. Again, when you work, you might do it differently, but since we are learning and we have to learn the right things. Okay. Thank you very much. Keep going. Okay, let's take this one. Copy. Who is that? Borsukov. Okay. Number 8. I'm sorry. There is no page number 5. Page number 5. Let's put it that way. There is no in the page selection menu with results 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, blah, blah, blah. So we are talking about this. At the bottom of the search results table, we have, I'm not sure if menu is the right word here, but yeah, we do have that element here. 1, 2, I'm trying to figure out what is the right verbiage for that. I don't like menu because menu is it already has some meaning. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and number 5 is missing. Okay, number 5 is missing. So link to the page number 5. Okay, link to the page number 5. Under the search results table. Is missing. Okay. One more thing. Bug report should be as concise as possible. Number 7, number 8, bug report should be as complete as possible. So whatever is material to understanding and fixing the bug should be there. You cannot make your bug report shorter, okay, more laconic, more concise, at the cost of completeness. So out of all the complete bug reports, out of all the possible complete bug reports, we choose the one which is more concise. Okay, and the bug report is not about creative writing. Okay, creative writing, not an essay. Okay, it is a technical writing. It doesn't really take any creative writing skills. You don't have to be Shakespeare to write a bug report. Guys, we've got lots of rules today. So we have 9 rules. Okay. Just going back to you. Navigation bar. Navigation bar is fine. Okay, number of pages, list. You found only October 1st to be out of range. What about the rest of the pages? Or for the teaching purposes, you don't have access to that feature. Okay. When you look at that page, okay, and you look at the range, which is from June 5th till September 30th, I do not see anything here which is outside of the range. I mean, really. Okay, there is not. There is just one in October, so beyond the later than October 30th, and then we talk about June, not June 5th. Okay, anything earlier than June 5th? No, not really. We have just one, which is June 5th. I do not understand what what your question is about. There is just one piece, one invoice with the wrong date. So what do you mean? Okay. Can you say pagination? Yeah, pagination web element instead of link. Pagination. I don't know, guys, honestly. I don't know what would be the kind of technically correct one. Just not sure. What is concise in Russian? Лаконичный, сжатый, как бы сказать, без излишних, там, без излишних. Concise. Can I rephrase 8 as page number 5 is missing in the pagination? You can say that, as long as people understand you, definitely. I think she is asking if you can access another invoices in the table. It doesn't have any functionality. It's a picture. You look at the picture. It doesn't work. I cannot go to page number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All I have is in front of me. I'm not doing functionality testing. I am doing user interface, and I don't want to say the word usability, because we are not doing usability testing in terms of how it is defined, but kind of common sense, that kind. There is PO table. There is PO table in purchase order in October 13th. October 13th. PO number. But the limitations are given to the range is given to the invoice date field. And that is the invoice date field. I don't care about other things. So invoice could be issued on September 30th, and then it was paid off maybe 1 month after. But we are limiting the search to that specific kind of field, specific property. Okay. Can I write no page number 5? I would say no page 5 link. It is still link. Maybe there is a page. We just do not have a link. We are missing that link. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just trying to make it kind of, correct in all the ways. So in real life, you limit yourself to whatever is good enough. Okay, you are not looking for perfection. You are saving time. Good enough, you go. Okay, guys. Let me ask you this question. Do you have better idea now of what bug report is about? Good. And that is why I'm coming with the rules. I'm not just giving you the language of a bug report, but I'm trying to give you the rules, so next time when you run into similar situation, you have the approach, the certain criteria to judge what is good and what is not good and how to make it better. So that is the overall kind of philosophy. And remember, guys, 1 week from now, you go to the project. You will go to the project. And if we look at your class page, here it is. So today we are doing, we are working with bug reports. Next one, we will talk about backtracking databases. Okay. And what's inside the bug report, what is that form about? And then we have session 5 is no, I'm sorry. That is going to be the session 5. So we are summarizing things. Okay, and at that same time, you go to the project, and my next session will be, along with the project, will be about test cases and more about test cases. And all that materializes when you do the project with Jana, when you do the test cases, when you do the bug reports. So my job right now is to give you all you need to jump on the project. And all you need to jump on the project is basic idea of test cases and basic idea of bug reports. So you can actually work with it and you can actually build the practical skills. Okay, how many? We have 9. Okay, we have 8 bugs. Okay, let's do 2 more bugs. Okay, actions button is missing in the last row of the table. Okay, that is the bug which comes with some discussion. See, the row number 11 shouldn't be here because it is supposed to be 10. Yeah, it says 10. Yeah, 10. But so it shouldn't be here, but it is there anyway, and it doesn't have that actions button here. All rows do have the button, and that one doesn't have the button. So we have some philosophy here. We can say, hey, let's say remove the row number 11, which we did. But and then the problem with the missing actions button will be resolved naturally. But we have to keep it in mind. We have to keep in mind that there was a problem, and is it there? Isn't there? So some people would say, you know what? Let's report it separately. Let's write just a different bug report. And different bug, just in case, so we don't have to keep it in mind, and so it is somehow documented. Actions button is missing in the last row of the table. I would keep it that way. Actions button is missing in the last row of the table. I wouldn't modify it. It's fine, good enough. What else? The payment column can be named the payment date. Payment column, okay. But it is not a date. It is not the date, really. I don't know what those numbers are, but it's anything but date. I mean, you can call it Michael Portnoy, but the thing is, it has nothing to do with Michael Portnoy, and it has nothing to do with the date. Why do you think it's a date? They have some enumeration. And look, I'm not in accounting business. I'm not in invoices building business or purchase order business or payment business. I don't know. There is some payment, and it is somehow enumerated, and I don't know really. How do you know? Why date? I mean, it is anything but date. Yeah, that is the year, I understand, but what's 1248? What, I mean, how 1248 reminds you any is associated with any date? Not really. Um, yeah. The label from amount, okay, invoices, missing, yeah, okay. So we finally come to the second page. I'm looking for something. Okay, Energy Telecom doesn't belong here. Tolia cannot push any main menu buttons at the top of the page. Menus do not have buttons. Okay, and we have different folders here. So right now we are in the invoices folder. You can see it here. It is called folder, and those purchase order, payments, my details are not menus and not buttons. They are tabs, folder tabs. Okay, but you shouldn't be able to push them, to click on them, to use them, to manipulate them. Okay. You have pretty much same bugs. Don't say misprint. You can say misspelled, but there is no misprint. I mean, doesn't exist in the English language. The label from amount have the colon character. Yes, we know that. We reported that. Okay, in the table with the results, there is a column type. But all results are invoice type. And it is not necessary to show this column. Yeah, look at that. That makes sense. So we are in invoices folder. And we are searching invoices. And saying invoice makes no sense. They are all invoices. So it is redundant. Okay, okay, very good. So what was your language here? Okay, let's take your language and we will edit that. But it's a good observation, guys. Would you agree? It is a very nice observation. Так, column type. Okay. Column type is redundant. Redundant since all the results are of type invoice. Column type, okay, let's move it a little bit. So column type is redundant since all of the results are of type invoice. Very good one. Okay, guys, as I told you before, I know over 40 there. So if you keep, so here is your homework. Here is your homework. Try to write your bug reports using what we just discussed here. Okay, we didn't look at Energy Telecom today, but we will do it later on. Doesn't matter. So we are still working with bug reports. So part of your most important part of your homework is to apply the rules. To apply, wait a second, yeah, to apply the 9 rules and the 10 examples of bug reports to what you've done so far, and you might find more bugs actually. So session 3, okay. In between today and session 4, which will happen on Monday, we will kind of split into 2 groups. So one group will continue the class and another group will not. So to continue the class, you have to pay the tuition, and so then you're gonna be in the final SU3, yeah, that one, SU3 final group. So Irina will process your payment and she will move you to that final group, and we'll proceed from here. Again, if you are in final group already, or you are planning to be there anyway, so far, we have the session 4 here on that SU3 class page, so you can do the homework for the session 4. So again, you watch the video, the webinar, you take the quiz on bug reporting, you read the chapter in that book, you watch motivational video. There is an archive video, some older stuff where we discuss bug reporting and bug tracking, and element tools. Yeah, you can practice, you can play with that one. It's a bug tracking system. You can go there and kind of spend some time there. Okay, so that is what you do to prepare to the session 4, and again, practice in doing the in finding and reporting bugs for let's limit it to Tolia so far. We're gonna do a lot with Energy Telecom. Okay, any questions? Where am I? Go to Can we count as a bug what the page is opening already with values on text field? You don't know if that page opened with some values. You have no idea. You are given something to look at, and you don't know how it came to that state. I mean, you have no idea, number one. Number two, if you looked at my presentation about user interface rules, so we have such a thing as default value. So when something opens with value provided, for example, if I go to, let's say, Notepad, and I go to File, Save As, it comes with session 3, blah, blah, blah. Thing here, it's already given. It's not empty. That is the default value. Why it is that way? They decided that maybe I want to save the file with the exact same name somewhere else, maybe. Or I don't know, they offer me that default value. If I take the word search and I do edit find, okay, and then I do find again, find, and it comes with the word search. Why? It remembers what I did last time, and I think maybe I use that word multiple times. So default values is one of the things which nice application offers if it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't. But if it does make sense, it's good. So you shouldn't go beyond your expertise when you test specifically user interface. You have no idea about opening anything. Nobody told you, we just open that page. You were told, look at that page and tell us what's wrong so we can fix it. I am paid too. Can you add me in final group? Hey, you write to Irina, and Irina's, okay, let me put it here. Irina's Skype is Irina's Skype. Yeah, Irina's Skype is Portnoy Online. So she handles all the issues like that. File, save. And guys, it is not just Irina enabling your account. You have to register, so she can go and enable your account so you have access to everything and so on. So you have to register first. Do you know how to register? I don't know. I mean, we have a page for registration. What book? There is a book called Testing Computer Software. Called Software Testing. And I think people in your chat, so they will share the book with you. It's a PDF file. When is due to make payment? Well, before the class begins Monday at 10 a.m. California time. So preferably you do that maybe 1 hour prior to the class beginning, because we need time to process payments. So somehow lots of people will do that 5 minutes before the class, which means they're going to be likely not in the class. So if you do that too late, we won't be able to do it before the class begins. Will you give us a link for a book? It's a good question. Again, you will get it in the chat. So there are lots of people in the chat who will give you the book. Yeah. Okay. Software testing genius. Okay, Greg. Let's do it this way. Okay. Let's do it this way. Don't do that again. Okay. Do not put any links to any garbage or maybe valuable thing until I approve the link. Okay. And they do not need your link. They need the book, which they're going to use to do the job, to do the homework. Okay. No links without my approval. Does solving chess puzzle help to become a better tester? As long as it helps you to develop your brain, you know. So whatever helps you to be smarter, to be more intelligent, to be better organized, and so on. So everything helps. Unfortunately, guys, I know some people who are very good at playing chess, and that is pretty much all they do in their lives, and whatever else they try to do, they cannot. I've seen engineers back home in Russia. I've seen engineers who were not focused on anything but playing chess. So, what's the difference between the prices? Can you explain on your website? It is explained on the website. If you go to the FAQ, portnoy.net, FAQ-RU, that is your FAQ, and then it talks about the class pricing. Let me see. Yeah, it says if you are in Europe, or well, let's say not US and Canada, so the price is 1,000. If you are in countries of former USSR and you are planning to look for a job where you live, I mean, in those countries, so then it makes our life simpler, so we do not have to support you that much in your job search. So then so you might pay 750. So if you look for a job in US, it is still no, I'm sorry. If you live in Europe and you want to look for a job in US or Europe, so it is 1,000. If you are in countries of former USSR and you want to look for a job in Europe or United States, it is still 1,000. And it is 750 only if you are planning to look for a job in Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, those places. Okay. And guys, we do not have any refunds here, so think twice. So if you pay the money, it's not refundable. Okay. So we do have that FAQ here. Any more questions? When you give us link for book, go through. Okay. What's the difference between the prices? I told you. I live in UK and I paid 750 first rate. Next time I have to pay 250. When it comes to the resume, and you tell us, I want to look for a job in somewhere, so it will be reflected in your resume somehow. So if you want to look for a job outside of countries of former Soviet Union, yeah, you will pay 250 more. Can I write this in column payment? Invalid information display format. You have no idea about this subject, okay? How you are saying it is wrong or invalid if you have no idea? I mean, why in the world you even look at something you have no idea about? I mean, why? Why? Maybe it's right. Maybe it's perfectly correct. And I'm telling you, it is perfectly correct, actually. From what months of training will it be possible to enter the market? Anytime you are ready. So to enter the market, you have to pass the written clearance, verbal clearance, and you can go. So if you can do it within a month, you are welcome. So if you want to start tomorrow, okay, you are welcome. We do your resume, you do clearance, written, verbal, go. We have no limitations on that in terms of timing. So let's say you have lots of time to study and you can use the recordings and you can actually pick up the material within, I don't know, 1 month. Go. So my philosophy is as soon as you want to go, you should go. I mean, not just want to go, you are kind of ready to go, go. There is an opposite problem. Some people, instead of going to the job market, they are saying, I will take another class, I will take another class, I will repeat this class and that class, and they finally never go to the job market. That is another problem, which is much worse. What if I live in UK, but I'm planning to find a job in US market? What is the price for the same thing? Same thing. How to apply for clearance? How to apply? Okay. I'm just thinking. In US, but see what happens if you look for if you want to get a remote job in US, yeah, you're still at $1,000. If you are planning to eventually come to US and live in US and get a job in US, so you become same as a resident of US and Canada, so then it is 15. If you stay in Europe and look for a remote job, it is 1,000. If you come to US and get a job here, so you become like a local person. Okay. So guys, I think we are pretty much done. So any questions, you can just write them here and I will answer. And so we are done for today. Yeah. Thank you very much. And let me start producing the recording for you. Since that is the final third session of our introduction, I would say, guys, I appreciate the trust you put, in us. So you have lots of other things, to be done, and still you come and you listen and you consider our program. So I really appreciate it. And whichever way it will happen. So thank you very much, and I hope lots of good things are coming to our life. Okay, yours and mine, and no matter what you decide on that stuff. Thank you very much.